Hello everyone, and welcome to your second royal reading of this Saturday afternoon. A short 5-card reading using the Wandering Star Tarot. Using it because we have a wannabe star in the US. That is Prince Harry. Being a royal prince wasn't enough. He wants to be a star as well. But he is wandering. He is wandering from project to project and not really sticking with anything and not really making any of those projects work. Now, allegedly, and we have to throw that word in, he is proposing a documentary on polo, the sport of kings, for Netflix. He has proposed this. Allegedly, according to people who are playing polo with him, he is living his dream in Santa Barbara playing polo, and now wants to bring a documentary to Netflix about this sport. Nacho and Delfina Figueras apparently are very keen on popularizing the sport as well. I went and dug around and did some research on them as a couple and what they're about and how they live. And good luck with that. I say you need a string of polo ponies, you need tons of money, tons of free time, and really not something that your average Netflix watcher has. So we're going to see if Prince Harry is really proposing this to Netflix. How Netflix feels, if he is, what is going on behind the scenes, how desperate is he if he is trying to come up with this kind of material for Netflix. And underlying energy of this reading, I particularly want to know if he is truly living his dream. One more shuffle. Playing polo in Santa Barbara, or whether his dream might actually be back in the UK on a rather gloomy, rainy day with his medals pinned to his chest and on a horse trooping the colour. Let's have a look. 5-card reading using the Wandering Star Tarot. Polo is the theme today. We've just done a reading on Delfina and her relationship with Harry and Meghan. Now Harry and Netflix and this alleged polo documentary. The mind boggles. But anyway, we read on it. It's mentioned, it's rumoured, it's alleged, and we read on it. And quite interesting that the Hanged Man in reverse has come out as the underlying energy, and I specifically asked, and I almost never do this, I specifically asked if Harry really is living his dream playing polo in California, and he may well be, because the Hanged Man is someone who's in limbo and gaining a new perspective on his life while he is stuck there hanging from that tree, can't move, waiting for things to shift. But the card has come out in the reverse, which means that the Hanged Man, or woman in this case, has been cut down from the tree and they are free. So he may actually at some level believe this, that he's now free to live his dream life, and his dream life was always to play polo. And allegedly, no, it's not allegedly, this is true, this is fact, credible documented history, he had a bit of a gap year and he went off to Argentina and worked or lived and played, probably the latter, on a ranch in Argentina where they played a lot of polo. And I had to come home early in a bit of disgrace. There was a story around that, that he got himself into some trouble and he was sent home early, and the next minute he was off to the army. So this was his dream, I would say, from the Hanged Man in reverse, and the dog is having a good shout out the door. From this card, the Hanged Man in reverse, he really did want to be a professional polo player. Not good enough by all accounts. Also got some problems with cruelty to animals, which we won't go into now because I just don't have the stomach to read on that. But a thwarted ambition, which he's now exploring with the Hanged Man in reverse. So yes, the young girl, 19-year-old, who is quoted in the article as saying Prince Harry is now living his dream life playing polo in California, not very far off the mark. Hanged Man in reverse confirms that. So there you go. He didn't really want to be a toy soldier. He really wanted to be a polo player. So, situation. We're talking now about Prince Harry and a documentary for Netflix on polo. Six of Pentacles. Trying to sort out the finances, trying to even the spreadsheet, balance the books. The Six of Pentacles is all about balancing. who's put in lots of money, who's taken too much money. And so far, the Harkles are on the wrong end of this spreadsheet. They are the ones who have received all the money and haven't given anything back to Netflix. No content yet whatsoever. So there is an urgent need to balance the books here with the Six of Pentacles, to give back to Netflix. Netflix gave many millions. I don't think the $100 million that we all heard bandied about when the great deal was first announced, but certainly large sums of money involved that have all gone to the Harkles, all been spent, who knows on what, but nothing to show for it. Harkles need to come up with something, and come up with something fast. A Pearl story has disappeared, and we have the Invictus Games thing, which was meant to be a series but has been brought down to a one-off. Still haven't seen it. What's left? Polo documentary. Shows out what limited thinking has-been is capable of, and mentally deficient he is, in my opinion, in terms of creativity. If that is all he can suggest to Netflix, he who has met just about every important person in the world, influential person in the world, can only come up with a documentary on polo playing. So is he really proposing this to Netflix, or is this all just pie in the sky? Queen of Swords in reverse. The Queen of Swords is a truth teller. She's very forthright. She's very shrewd. She's very sharp. She's very intelligent. She's pretty unemotional in her thinking process. Queen of Swords in reverse is a much harsher energy. It's quite cruel and vindictive energy. It could just be someone putting out a very unkind rumor. Let's just say that. With the Queen of Swords in reverse, somebody who's got an axe to grind with the Harkles, who really wants to mock them and mock Prince Harry, as I have just been mocking his intelligence. And I have to say, this is just a tarot reading. This is just my opinion for entertainment purposes. But the Queen of Swords in reverse is a bit of a mocking energy and an unkind energy, and can be not entirely truthful, because when the sword is in the reverse position, you are not telling your best truth. You are being unkind, you are being cruel, you are being vicious. So there is that energy. Possibly it was proposed in a kind of off-the-cuff moment, and there was a lot of snorting and ho-hoing and laughing up sleeves, and then scurrying away to bash away at computers and send out the message anonymously onto message boards that, guess what, ho-ho, Dumbo Chimpo has proposed. And everybody had a good laugh. But let's see. That's my take on this Queen of Swords. There's an unkind energy around it, a mocking energy. Let's see. How does Netflix feel about this? If it was proposed, indeed, even in our sort of last desperate, yes, well, this is what I'm doing, you can come and film it. Me and Nacho and Delphina and the rest of them. Megan's lost a ton of weight, and she's wearing all these unfortunate clothes that don't flatter her boxy figure, but she really has worked hard to lose all that weight. So come and look. She's got a new wig. She'll be handing out the prizes, even if they're not earned prizes and we didn't ask her to. How does Netflix feel about this? 9 of Cups in reverse. It's beyond a joke. It's just the last thing that they're interested in. The 9 of Cups is your wish fulfilled, your dream come true. Everything that you could possibly want in life rolling in the door. Netflix wanted the Jubilee celebrations. They wanted behind the scenes. They wanted to know exactly how the Queen is doing. Is she really ill? What does it look like behind the scenes at Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle? All that kind of stuff. What food do they serve you? How do people get dressed? What's it like? What's the gossip? What's the chatter? All of that stuff that they wanted, and they got absolutely diddly squat. Nothing at all. They do not want a documentary on polo playing. That is for sure. Even though it is the sport of kings, they had real kings in waiting lined up in London, and the Harkles failed dismally to get footage, get access. They were just blocked, body blocked almost. So let's see how desperate is Prince Harry to come up with content. This is the hidden energy of this reading. How desperate is he to come up with content? 4 of Wands, he is desperate. The 4 of Wands in reverse has come up. 4 of Wands upright, we're very successful. We've got lots to celebrate. Look, we are creative as a couple. We found our freedom. The words there, creativity, union, freedom, always words that come to my consciousness when I look at this card. All the other cards have words, but I seldom ever feel drawn to read them out when I'm doing these readings for you. But this one, absolutely. We're a power couple. We're so creative. We're so talented. We're bringing all of this stuff from the royal family, because the Four of Wands is one of my royal family cards. It's the foundation. It's the institution. It's the stability. It's all of that. The fancy castles and palaces and the rest of it. But it's in the reverse. Desperate. It's also a marriage breakup card. The Four of Wands is a marriage card. It's institutions that are long-standing. And it's in the reverse. They're out of ideas. They may in fact have broken up. They don't have access to those very stable foundations and institutions that Netflix wants from them. So pretty desperate. Desperate, I would say, at a personal level in terms of his own marriage and his own relationship. Desperate for Netflix in terms of access to all the stuff that the Four of Wands would represent in the upright. All of those formal occasions, those institutions, all the rest of it. He's scratching around trying to make fetch happen, but he doesn't have anything to offer them. He may well have, in a moment of desperation, suggested this because he knew that what was coming up was 6 or so weeks of playing polo with Nacho in Santa Barbara, and Netflix said, no thanks, not what we wanted, not what we paid millions of dollars for. You owe us. And you better come up with something better. And Fluffy has chosen that moment to wake up and give a good shake and to make her little bells ring in agreement with that. So outcome for Prince Harry and Netflix and content. What is the outcome going to be? The Sun. The Sun has come up in this kind of reading before. A few weeks ago, I can't remember what particular reading it was. The Sun is very successful, very powerful. It's a very abundant energy, a lot of fun. But the Sun also, and I missed this interpretation in that reading, and I thought about going back to it and putting a little comment on the tape, but I didn't. But the Sun also is illumination. It's light being shone on a situation. We may find out very soon how the deal is going with Netflix. And just clarity, that is what the Sun is. So yes, it may be that something brilliant happens between Harry and Netflix and all is forgiven and all is happiness and how wonderful. It won't be that polo documentary, because absolutely not, with the Nine of Cups in reverse. It could be Invictus Games does well, and then there you go. You did something positive, you did something successful, and now we're done. Thank you and goodbye. Could be that simple. But a secondary energy. And a Sun always, a Sun puts light on situations. You see clearly, you understand what is going on in a situation. It's a very powerful card. It is Major Arcana in this reading. It is the only, oh no, it's not, the Hanged Man in reverse is. So there is something coming up that is going to be cause for some relief, some happiness between Harry and Netflix. Some, okay, yes, you've done it. We can part company now and say it was a mutually beneficial arrangement, relationship. You evened the scores. You paid up. You did your Netflix documentary, and now goodbye. But also, as I keep saying, clarity about a situation that has been pretty murky for as long as this talk of this deal between Harry and Meghan and Netflix has gone on. We've never really known what it was about. It's changed, and it's fallen apart pretty much more than being put together. And so a little bit of a hurrah at the end, and then goodbye. That's how I'm seeing things today. That's the reading. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.